Welcome back, guys. Sherry here. Sidon of the Zora. Now this is the quest we need to reach the water temple. If you just want to see the water temple solved, you can click the link in the upper right hand corner. I'll also leave a link in the description. But now if you would like to see how to get there, then let's get into it. Now the first thing you need to do is make your way over to Zora's domain. Here it is on the map, guys. You can jump from Upland Zorana Skyview Tower and reach it. Now, I'm using the glide suit. You don't have to have that, but you might want to pack yourself some stamina, depending on how much stamina you have. But let's just make it on over to the Zora domain. Now, when you get here, you're going to be looking for a big green Zora. You can't miss her. Her name is Yona. Go down and talk to her. She's going to be talking to a couple of others, and they're going to be talking about a sludge-covered statue. So we have to remove this sludge, and to be able to do that, all we have to do is either throw a blue choo-choo or some splash fruit on the statue. It will remove the sludge, and then let's just go back and talk to Yona again. This time she is going to tell you that Sidon isn't here, and he is at Mipha's court, which they are going to mark on the map for you. Then she is going to invite you back to talk to her after you talk to Sidon. And she's going to tell you that she's at the infirmary above on the second floor. However, guys, I would suggest that you go ahead and find her on the second floor. And you're going to find her here in this pool of water, because she is going to give us the Zora Armor. Now, she needs an ancient arowana fish to repair it. And you probably already have that in your inventory. They are all over the Sky Islands. But we want to get the Zora Armor because it's going to make our trip up to find Sidon a lot easier. And from here, guys, all we need to do is head towards the marker on our map. That's where Sidon is, at Mipha's court. But let's equip the Zora Armor, and what we're going to do is climb these waterfalls. That's what the Zora Armor does. It allows us to climb these waterfalls. So instead of trying to climb all of these mountains just to reach Sidon, all we have to do is go up these waterfalls. Okay, so when you get here to Mipha's court, you're going to find Sidon right here in this pool of water. And he is just trying to clear some of the sludge out of the water. But he's going to tell you that he has tasked, I guess, a Zora historian with researching some ruins, some ruined fragments. And he's going to send us to go find him at Toto Lake. So now we've got to go make our way to Toto Lake. Now, guys, they don't actually show you this on the map, but here it is on the map, and this is where we got to go next. It is just a little north of Zora Domain, right at the top of the waterfalls, but the water is going to be yellow, so it's very easy to miss. And when you get here to Toto Lake, we're just looking for this guy. I guess his name is Giotto. I don't know how to say it, but anyway, he's looking at an ancient Zora slate, and part of the writing is missing. So we have to go right over here behind him, and then we have to pick up this slate. Just use some splash fruit or something to get the sludge off of it, and then we're just going to put it into place. Once we put it into place, there is a riddle. And the riddle is this: stand upon the land of the skyfish and behold its lofty view. Among the floating rocks you will see a droplet waits for you. Through this droplet shoot an arrow with the mark of the king. Do this task and you shall reveal a most wondrous thing. See the watery bridge resting spot with your own two eyes, that which connects the Zora to the people of the skies. So basically, guys, all this is we have to find the king, get some scales, and we have to shoot it through a droplet. So let's go do that. But first, we have to find the king. And typically, a king is sitting on the throne. So if we go back to Zora's domain and we go to the very top floor, that is where the king normally sits. But instead, we find a couple of kids. Now, the kids are discussing something, and if you try to talk to them, they're going to shoo you away. So we have to find an area to where we can sneak up behind them and listen to what they're saying, because they're talking about where the king is. So if we just make our way around the back of the throne, you'll see a pool of water. And we can get down in this water and we can listen in. And they're talking about where the king is, where there's clean water, and it's somewhere between Palimus Mountain and the domain. And it says it's behind a waterfall. There is a secret entrance behind a waterfall. So if we look on the map, here is the domain, and over here is Palimus Mountain. So if we go right in between, we see these waterfalls. So I would say it's probably going to be about right here. So if we make our way over to the waterfalls, all we have to do is just swim through this second waterfall. And this is where we are going to find the king. Now all you have to do here is just go up and talk to the king, and he's going to give you some of his scales. Now after we talk to the king, we have to go back and talk to Sidon one more time. And when we do, he's going to talk about the land of the sky fish and the floating rock in the shape of a droplet. But what we want to do here is get him to leave this water. And to be able to do that, we need to go up on the Scales Island. So if you'll just look right here to the left, you're going to see a waterfall coming from this island. Let's jump in this waterfall, and that is going to be Scales Island. But when you make it to the top, guys, this island is completely covered in sludge. Now, you can use some blue choo-choo jellies or some splash fruit, and you can clear the sludge off if you want to. But what we want to do is make it to the top middle of the island. And you want to look, I guess, southwest. And if you just start looking, these rocks will kind of change, and it will start to look like a droplet. And once you can make out the droplet, all we have to do is just fuse one of the king's scales to an arrow and shoot it through the droplet. And once we do this, it's going to land in the lake, and it's going to shoot a beam of light up into the sky. But before we leave this island, guys, let me show you where we can get the Zora Helm. Now, if we're standing right here, I guess, on the top fin of this island, you're going to see a little place over here that's covered in sludge. You can take some splash fruit or something and open it up, but it's right here, as you can see, on this corner fin. But it's going to open up this little area. And if we go inside of there, you're going to find a chest, and this is where we are going to find the Zora Helm. Okay, now when you leave this island, don't head straight towards the light that is shooting up into the sky. We actually have to go back to Sidon. We have to go back to him at Mipha's court and talk to him again and get him to leave there. Once he leaves there, then we can go to where the arrow shot in the lake and it's shooting a beam of light up into the sky. And once we make it to the lake where the beam of light is, Sidon, he is going to jump into the lake and he's going to create a whirlpool. When he does this, all we have to do is just jump into the middle. Now, once we jump into the middle, it's going to drop us into a pool of water. And all we have to do is kind of navigate our way around down here. You're going to see some bustable rocks. Now, we can take a bomb flower and we can bust these open, and it will allow the water to rise. So that way we can kind of get from one area to another. And when you get to the second area, you're going to see some more bustable rocks. Really, you just kind of want to look for these glowing rings. When you see the glowing rings, that means you kind of need to go in that general vicinity. The first one's going to be on the left. Then we're going to find another one on the right. And guys, when this starts filling up, there are lots of just floating wooden boards laying around. So there's lots of stuff to grab onto and get up out of the water. But the last one, we just kind of want to make our way around. It's going to have a glowing ring, but there are no bustable rocks. However, there's a little opening that we need to go inside of. And once you make your way inside of this opening, now guys, you can actually go left or right. It doesn't really matter. But you're going to make your way all the way to the back and then just kind of circle back around. But when you do, you're going to see, I guess, this sludge coming from the ceiling. When you see that, this is where we want to ascend. And once you ascend up into the ceiling, you're going to see some bustable rocks. Now, I was really concerned about trying to throw a bomb flower here because it's such a small area. But if you'll just back up a little bit, you can throw a bomb flower. You won't take any damage, but that'll bust through these rocks. It'll open up the water. And then all we have to do is just glide over here to touch the little hand thing. Now, guys, you could have done this without busting through these rocks. I don't know. I didn't try. But we just need to touch the little hand thing. That will open up a waterfall from the skies down to the surface, and that is our Watery bridge. Now, after you do this, it will immediately pull you out of here and place you next to Sidon. And then all we have to do, guys, is just jump into this waterfall. Once you almost get to the top of the waterfall, you're going to notice like this blue ring that's going to flash. That's because once we get to the top, there is actually very little gravity here, so we can jump really high. But this is how we're going to access Wellspring Island. Now all we have to do, guys, is make our way to Sidon, and he is right in front of us. But I would highly suggest that you target a treasure chest when you get here. There are lots of them up here, and most of them have weapons in them. So I would set the sensor to a treasure chest. If you don't have the sensor and you don't know how to get it, you can click the link in the upper right hand corner. I'll also leave a link in the description. Like right here in the beginning, I just passed a treasure chest. I do go back and get it, but there is one in the sludge right when you get up here, so I really would target one of those. Now guys, we can use these bubbles to get around. All we have to do is jump inside of them, and if they're moving, we can move with them. But once we meet up with Sidon, he is going to suggest that we split up, and he is actually going to go higher into the sky. There will be a marker on your map, but we have to find our way and traverse this island to make it up to where he is. Now, there is a little area here on the right-hand side that you can go and explore. There is a chest at the end. You're going to run into some constructs. Just take care of them. And when you start to run towards this chest, the floor is actually going to drop out from underneath you. So just be careful and either jump over that or just jump as it's falling out from underneath you. And like I said, guys, you should really target a treasure chest. There are lots of them up here. Like over here on the right hand side where I am, you can ascend through the ceiling. You're going to find another treasure chest. But then let's just make our way back to where we met Sidon. And then when you start to make your way back where we met him, you're going to see these bubbles just kind of floating up into the air. All we have to do is just jump into one of them, and it'll take us up to the next level. And when you're inside of these bubbles, all you have to do is hit the jump button, and Link will kind of jump out of them. But you don't have to worry about falling really fast because there's little to no gravity. So if you need to, you'll have plenty of time to grab your paraglider. And then to get to the next level, we're just going to kind of do the same thing. You might have to stand and wait on a bubble to come out of these things, but just get yourself inside of one of these bubbles, and then it will kind of, I guess, drift up into the air. And when it starts flashing green, that means it's about to burst. So you can kind of jump from one bubble to the other. Just get up into the air until you get high enough over the other bubble, and then just kind of jump into it. But if you miss, guys, like I said, you're not going to fall very fast. You can always grab your paraglider. If you have to go down a level, then just put yourself back into another bubble until you can get back up to where you need to be. Or if you wanted to, guys, you could just fuse a rocket to your shield or just break out a Zonai device, and you could make it up here extremely easy. But once we get up here, we're going to run into some constructs. Just take care of them, and then you're going to see a hydrant. Now, let's grab this hydrant, and we can remove all of this sludge. And then you're going to see some stairs. So make sure and remove the sludge from the stairs. You're going to find another chest here. Now, you can take this hydrant with you, and you can start clearing out all of this sludge. But right here on this ledge, we're going to find a chest in the sludge. Just use a splash fruit or something to wash the sludge away. And then we're going to run into this thing, and it's going to be covered in sludge. Now, you can use the hydrant or a splash fruit or something just to wash the sludge away. And we're going to reveal a waterfall. Now, make sure and have the Zora Armor equipped. And then all we got to do is just jump into these waterfalls. And guys, we're going to use these waterfalls to traverse our way up this island. But over here on the right hand side, you will find a chest out here on a little platform. Then let's just use the waterfalls and make our way to this shrine. Now guys, you don't have to do it, but I would suggest that you at least open the fast travel. But if you decide to do it, all we have to do is jump into a bubble. We're going to make it up to the next level. Then you're going to see a treasure chest just continuously falling. You can use Ultra Hand and try to grab it or recall or whatever, but you can also use this bubble. and grab it. And it's okay if you drop it. It's going to continuously respawn, but just bring it to yourself. And once we grab the treasure chest, you're going to see a bubble coming from a platform. All we have to do here, guys, is just use recall. Jump into the bubble, and we can get ourselves up to where we need to be. Then you're going to see another bubble. Let's grab it and hitch a ride. And then once you make it to the last platform, you're going to see, I guess, this slider box. Let's slide it into the middle. We're going to lay this ramp on top of it. Now, guys, I kind of had to lay it high, and then I just had to get up on the ramp and stand here until the bubble would pick me up, because for some reason it didn't want to pick me up. So I suggest you kind of put the ramp a little high, but I don't know, whatever works best for you. And I don't know if you guys are aware, but if you just go to the map and look at the shrine, look next to the name. If you see a treasure chest there, that means you have gotten all of the treasure chests that are in the shrine. Once you make your way out of the shrine, you're going to see a gumball dispenser. We're also going to see a flux construct. Now, guys, they are just not that hard. I am using a multi-shot bow, which I did get from a Lynel. If you guys don't know how to kill the Lynels, you can click the link in the upper right-hand corner. I'll also leave a link in the description. But this one here on the island, he's not that hard to defeat. And he will drop an awesome item, which we can fuse to our weapons. Once you defeat the flux construct, you will find a chest that was sitting behind him up here on this ledge. And then we're going to see another bubble. All we have to do is just jump into the bubble and we'll make it to the next level. Once we make it to the next level, we're going to see some random Zora parts, basically some wings. And all we have to do is just set them right here in front of this catapult. And then let's just take an arrow. We're going to hit the switch and it's going to shoot us across to this other island. Now, once you make it across, you're going to run into some constructs, but then you're going to see a waterfall. All we have to do is just jump into these waterfalls and we're going to traverse our way up to the next level. However, you will find a chest out here on a platform. Once you grab the chest, let's just make our way to this triple waterfall. When you do, you're going to run into some constructs. After you take care of the constructs, then let's just make our way up here on the right hand side. Now, once you get to the top, you're just going to kind of see a bubble just sitting here. All we have to do here, guys, is use our recall. Let's jump into the bubble and it's going to take us over to the other side. Once you get to the other side, you're going to see a hydrant just flowing into a pool of water. And then if you use your ultra hand, you're going to see a lot of these, I guess, stone platforms just sitting around. Let's just put two of them together. Let's create ourselves our own platform and then let's put it over top of the pool of water. Then we can ascend into the little floating island that's above it. And you're going to find a chest. Now, once you grab the chest, let's take the platform that we just made, but let's add to it a little bit. Because what we want to do is create a ramp here for this bubble to float up on. I ended up putting 4 of them together, and then I just kind of dropped it right here to create a ramp. And it worked for me. Now, once we get to the other side, you're going to find another chest here, buried in the sludge. Then we're going to see several Zora devices. All I did was grab one of these. Then I grabbed a set of wings and I attached it on top. Then I grabbed 3 fans and I put them on the back. And then all we have to do is just set it here in front of the ramp and give it a good hit. Now, guys, once we make it across, we're going to meet up with Sidon. And after we meet up with Sidon, we're going to run into a construct. Take care of the construct, and the waterfall you see in front of us, that is our way to the water temple. Now, guys, if you enjoy content like this, show me with a like. But if you'd like to see the fire temple solved, click here. And I appreciate you guys watching. I hope this helps. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. And I'll catch you guys next time.